I'm going to show you how to prepare a seven seafood ramen. 7 seafood, similar to the Puerto Rican dish siete potencias or 7 potencies, which in Puerto Rico the old timers consider an aphrodisiac. So inspired by that, I'm going to create this Japanese ramen using 7 seafood, and I'm going to cook it like the Japanese cook their ramen. And remember, if I can cook it, so can you. So go nowhere. Let's create. And I have an oyster tail, scallops, snow crab, squid, mussels, shrimp, and oysters. Of course, I'm going to have some Japanese rice ramen, the noodles. I'm going to have some seaweeds, salt, but this one is the seaweed type salt. You can use regular salt too, doesn't matter. Green onions, the bottom side. Some ginger, which are thinly cut. You want it very thin. This is fresh ginger. I'm going to have some choy. 1 piece is enough. Mirin and soy sauce are needed. I'm going with the light one, but you can use the regular one. I'm going to have my ramen eggs, which I prepared last night, overnight, and it's been fermented for a little bit, just short time. If you do it 2-3 hours before, that's fine too. I did it overnight. And I have a lemon that I'm going to use for my cooking. And you're going to need a little bit of oil. You can use any one you want. I'm going to use some sesame oil. So I have a pot. I'm using this thing that separates the seafood from the water. I put some water, and I have this here because I'm going to steam these babies. And what I'm going to steam is the lobster tail, the snow crab, which been pre-cooked, but I'm going to pre-steam it. I'm going to steam the shrimp as well as the mussels. And you let it go, and you're going to use the shrimp and the lobster as the indicator that this is done. They're going to change color. I'm going to show you later. And this is done. See how the mussels open, the color change. And now that they're done, you're just going to get this out, and you're going to leave it alone because you're not going to add it yet. So what I'm doing here, I'm preheating this pan, and I'm going to start cooking some of that remaining seafood. So I'm going to use a little bit of sesame oil. And I'm going to add it here. I had the heat at medium high. And I'm going to add some of the ginger. Adding those nice flavors. It's smelling good already. And the first thing I'm going to add is the scallops. And put them aside. Going to grab a little bit of lemon. Going to squeeze it on them. Put a little bit of soy sauce, just a few drops. Start cooking them. You want them cooked. Add the squid. Add the oysters. Look at the beauty, huh? You're going to make sure the seafood is cooked. So it's going to take you a few minutes. Mix the flavors. You don't want them fried, you just want them cooked. About 3 or 4 minutes later, see the nice color? They're ready. Get them out. Now it's time to prepare the broth. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of the stuff that I used before, some of the grease. Some of the oil, give it that seafood flavor. And I'm going to add some soy sauce. I have a tiny cup. An equal amount of mirin. And this is exactly what I do when I'm creating the broth. Of course, I'm going to need some water or fish broth. I'm going to go with the water. You can have about a couple cups, maybe 3, depending how much you want to prepare. You let this baby heat up. One thing you want to do is you want to give it a taste. If you feel that it needs salt, that's when you add this salt. I'm using seaweed salt. It's a little bit potent, you know, have a lot of taste. And you make sure this heat up and is hot and warm, you know. Once you get the flavor to your taste. It's that simple. Using pretty much the same water, or some of the same water. I have to add more. Where I steam in my seafood, I'm trying to be efficient here. I'm using the same water, plus a little bit more. Now I'm going to add the ramen noodles. See how beautiful? And what I'm doing is I'm softening them. You know, I'm going to let this heat up maybe for a minute or 2 until they soften, and then I separate them. Remove them. Make sure they're separated here. Here you have your noodles. Now the choy you can steam for a couple minutes. You know, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this stuff in this hot, tasty water. Just for a few seconds, no more than a minute, to give it, to soften it. To soften it. A few seconds later, I remove it, see how beautiful it looks. I have everything I need now. Look at this egg, see? Nice. Beautiful. And I'm not going to unpeel the shrimp, because you can do that as you eat. Same with the lobster and the crabs. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be fantastic. Let's put it together.